Living in Manila is not for everyone. Traffic, pollution, it's a mega city of 25 million that does not go to sleep. But it was the first choice for me. I've lived in many different countries, but Philippines is where my heart's at. I've come back to focus full time on what I love to do, even though it's not paying me yet. So a few people asked me how and why I moved here without having a consistent income from trading yet, which is a fair question. The short answers are pretty simple. Number one, the cost of living here is comparatively way cheaper than it is in London. Number two, it just got to that point for me where I had to burn every ship in order to move forward. That's just how I felt inside. In today's video, I'm just going to focus on number one. I'm going to give you guys a detailed breakdown of my living costs here in Manila. This video is going to be for anybody. You could be a trader, digital nomad. You could be thinking about working remotely. I did live in the Philippines previously for several years, but a lot has changed since the pandemic. I'm discovering some new things myself. You're definitely going to find some info or some answers to questions you might have. There's definitely going to be some price hacks because I didn't come here with a whole bunch of money. So if you're watching, especially from the West, and you're thinking about leveraging what you have to relocate and work remotely, or even just have a break and live another life for a little while, then hopefully you're going to find this video useful. So let's talk about the main expense, which of course is rent. And it's actually not my biggest expense, but I'm going to show you guys where I live and break down all the costs. So you might have thought from the backdrop that I live in some kind of penthouse, but I actually live in a pretty small studio apartment. The floor area is under 30 square meters. So that's the kitchen, bathroom, living, dining, sleeping area combined. My sofa doubles up as a bed, so I put that away each morning. It's more than comfortable, and overall the space is good enough for me. We got a large fridge, a stove top. I only really use that to cook eggs in the morning. All of the other appliances, dishes, pots, pans, they all came with the unit, so I didn't have to buy anything. We got a simple, pretty modern bathroom. We got somewhere to sit down and eat. This is where I sit down, do my trading, my streams. Then this is the view. We're pretty high up. This is just a view of Quezon City, which is where I'm located. I live in a place called Eastwood, which is like a mini city separated from surrounding areas. It's very clean, very safe, but still relatively cheap, comparable to popular spots like BGC or Makati. There's everything you need here: a shopping mall, a couple supermarkets, tons of restaurants and bars, convenience stores open 24/7. The building I live in has several amenities free to use. We have a swimming pool, a games room, a yoga room, a gym, even a playground and outdoor barbecue area. And for all of that, I'm only paying 18,000 pesos per month, which is about £310 or $400, which is insane. Granted, I had a cousin negotiate a good deal for me before I came on a 6-month contract. But if you know where to look and what you're doing, it's possible to find something similar for a similar price. Now, this doesn't include bills, the main one being electric, which I haven't received yet, but I estimate around 3,000 to 4,000 pesos, which is roughly £50 per month. Water, which is quite a bit cheaper, it's only around 500 pesos per month or $10. And then there's internet, which I had to set up myself. It's from a provider called Globe. It's fiber. It's not super fast, but it's enough for me to do streaming on YouTube And the best thing about it is that it's prepaid, so no contract. Imagine that, because I don't think there's anything like that in the UK or in Europe or in the US. I just had to pay a setup fee of 1,500 pesos, and the monthly top up I use, which is a promo, is 700 pesos per month. So around £10 or $12. So if we add that all together, it comes to a total of 23,200 pesos, which is a fraction of the rent I used to pay for a 1-bed flat in London. As I said, rent didn't come up to my biggest expense, which is quite an anomaly. My biggest expense is actually food, and it's only just by a little bit, and it doesn't need to be. You could actually eat really cheap if you're happy with the local cuisine at what we call calendarias or canteens. But for a Westerner, it might take a bit getting used to. Luckily for me, I have relatives here and I eat good home-cooked food from time to time. Quite often, I'll cook my own breakfast, maybe some quick eggs and bread, yogurt, fruit, granola, all of which you can find in your local supermarket. But other than that, I don't cook, so my groceries come up to about 3,500 pesos or £50 per month. Fast food costs anywhere between 100 and 300 pesos. A meal at a mid-range restaurant will cost you anywhere between 300 and 600 pesos. A dinner a bit more fancier will cost you between 600 and 1,000 and up. One of my favorite places to eat that's fresh and cheap is a Japanese chain restaurant called Marugami Udon. You can get teriyaki chicken, tons of variety for around 200 to 300 pesos, and it's really fresh and tasty. So food costs for me, including a daily coffee, I'm going to estimate it around 800 pesos. So that will come up to about 24,000 pesos per month. So the other obvious cost is transportation. Grab taxi is the main mode of transport I use to get around. You can get from one side of the city to the other for about 700 pesos. Prices go up a little bit during peak times. Short journeys you can expect to pay between 150 to 300 pesos. Normal taxis are cheaper, but if you're a foreigner, they're gonna hustle you. So best thing to do is stick to Grab. There are other modes of transport like Angkas and Joyride, which is a motorcycle Grab style service. And you can expect to pay about 30 to 35% of a Grab taxi. So from one side of the city to the other, maybe you're going to pay about 300 pesos. But it's best for short journeys. For example, from where I live to BGC cost me around 130 pesos. Same goes for the more local types of transport like tricycles or jeepneys, which are very cheap and you should probably try and experience, but I wouldn't recommend using them to get around. There is also a train network called MRT, which is very useful to get from one side of the city to the other fast, but you could only really use it during quiet hours. If I add up all my transportation costs in the last month, it will come up to about 6,500 pesos on Grab and another 1,000 pesos on taxis and motorcycles. So that's around £100 per month in total. I do move around quite a bit, and that's excluding all the lifts I get from friends and family. And £100 a month does sound like a lot, but when you think about taxis and trains in London, it's really not that much. Other miscellaneous costs that I can include things like laundry. There's a drop-off service in my building that costs me around 700 pesos per month. The odd haircut costs me about 300 pesos per month. My SIM card data and calls using promos cost me around 400 pesos per month. My tourist visa costs 3,050 pesos per month, but that's express. If you're willing to wait and pick it back up, it's 2,000 pesos per month. I don't have a Filipino passport, but I am half Filipino, for those who might not have guessed. Visa processing is much more efficient than it used to be. You're in and out in 30 minutes and there's multiple branches across the city. And that's all I can think of. But if I'm missing anything obvious, do let me know down below in the comments. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram or catch me on live stream. So my basic costs per month in total comes to 58,000 pesos per month, which is 770 pounds or 994 US dollars. So just under $1,000 per month. Now these are the basic costs, meaning I'm not including things like activities or outings. Maybe I'm going to need to buy some new clothes from time to time or a gift for one of my relatives. I didn't include, any social life or dating. So my real costs at the end of the month could be quite a bit higher, if not double, to be honest. But for $1,000 a month, you can live in a nice place, eat good food, experience a new city, and really lock in and focus on what you want to accomplish. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. I might do some travel content on Instagram, so do me a big favor and give me a follow. Also, put your notifications on to catch the live streams, because we're really getting into it and I would like to see you guys on live. Thanks again, and I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you guys this week. Love.